Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at the GTech Community Stadium, where Brentford lead against Villa by a 1-0. Goal scored by Dango Otara early on in the first half. Brentford did have the ball in the net a second time towards the end of the half, but there was a foul from Vandenberg on Emi Martinez, and the free kick was given as Kevin Sharder has chased the ball down inside, literally inside the first 15-20 seconds of the second half. I think he's complaining that he might have been fouled there, Kevin Sharder. Referee Tony Harrington checking, and he decides that it is going to be a free kick. So Brentford straight away with a set piece inside the first 30 seconds of the second half. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and James Larrson taking into action. James, already a chance for Brentford inside the first few moments.
Yeah, and Villa have to beware. They've been vulnerable from the set piece. So really impressed with Damsgaard in that first half. He's looked very busy. Every time he's got the ball, he's got on the front foot. He's got a wicked delivery as well, and it's going to be an opportunity. But it's a poor ball in, just to say that.
You barely had time to finish the words. He's got a wicked delivery, and he scuffed it towards the edge of the area. It's easily dealt with by McGinn, and then he rolls it back towards Matt Cash, whose ball is easily picked off though by Lewis Potter. So Brentford still have bodies up here as Otara goes down the left-hand side. He gets to the edge of the area, just checks his run, leaves himself a little bit too much to do with it. McGinn draws the foul of Dango Otara. Free kick to Aston Villa. No changes for Brentford at half-time. Koyman Kelleher in goal, a back four of Michael Coyote, Nathan Collins, Sepp Vandenberg and Keane Lewis Potter. The two holder midfielders are Yecho Yarmoliuk and Jordan Henderson. The three ahead of them, Dango Otara, Mikael Damsgaard and Kevin Sharder, with Igor Thiago as the front man for Villa. They had one enforced change during the first half. Emi Martinez is in goal, back four of Matty Cash, Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings and Luca Digne. The two holder midfielders, Amadou Onana and Yuri Tillemans. The three ahead of them are John McGinn, Emi Buendia, who came on for the injured Boubacar Kamara, and Morgan Rogers. Ollie Watkins is the front man. It's with Digne now on the halfway line, going back to Pau Torres. Watkins dropping a bit deeper, but then firing a ball over the top, and Digne's carried on his run. It's a good run as well. It's crossed into the box. It's well dealt with though by Michael Coyote. Out for a throw to Villa on the left-hand side. Just looking across at the Premier League, no change in the scores. In fact, there has been a change in the scores. Burnley have taken the lead against Sunderland on 47 minutes through Josh Cullen. And there's also been a red card in the game between Bournemouth and Wolves. Bournemouth still lead by a 1-0, but Totti has been given it looks like, he got a yellow card in the first half, but now we're not sure if that's a second yellow or a straight red. But in any case, the Portuguese Totti is off in that game, so Wolves are goal down and a man down as well. And Wolves could be another team in trouble this season, potentially.
Yeah, there's a few. Brentford lost their star man in Mbuemo, and obviously Wolves lost Cunha as well. So there's a few you do wonder might be that little bit vulnerable. West Ham, of course, after last night, Paul. So it might not be those promoted teams.
No, I would say there's been a bit of a trend over the last couple of seasons that it is just the three that come up then go straight back down. But and there is still a chance that could happen this season. But I just think there are a few other teams already in the Premier League before last season that potentially may have to really buck their ideas up. And there's still, of course, 8 days of the transfer window to go. And that might be very telling as well. As a throw on to Villa now down the left-hand side. Digne going back towards Pau Torres. And Torres playing it square now towards Tyrone Mings. It's down the right-hand side here for Cash. Ball up to McGinn. 3 Brentford players surrounded. That wasn't a good move from Brentford, because now they've left all this space behind for Buendia, and he's taken advantage of it, and it's rolled across. Great chance this for Villa. Oh, and it's a really good challenge at the last second there to stop Morgan Rogers, because really that was a gilt-edged opportunity there, and Rogers perhaps should have scored.
Yeah, it's the first time really in the whole game that we've managed to see Villa split that Brentford defence open. The space opened up. It was worked out well to Rogers, and you have to say he must do better. There was bodies coming across, but he's got a pretty decent look at goal there, and it was actually a really good challenge in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, maybe we need to give more credit to the defender there. I think it was Coyote coming across, but it's going to be another one of those Matt Cash in-swingers here from the left-hand side. It's right in front of those Villa travelling fans who are in that corner where Villa are attacking in the second half. It's actually rolled to the edge of the area. Tielemans then drops the shoulder, fires it into the 6-yard box. Coyote gets his body in the way. That's out for a throw to Villa now on the left-hand side. Tielemans across to take this one. Just takes a shot. There's going to be a free kick here for Villa as well. Brentford have just got to try and keep their heads. They need to try and not to give away too many easy free kicks. I say that one there from Dango Otara. He's been involved a couple of times this afternoon. It's just clumsy from the former Bournemouth man, really.
Yeah, it was careless, wasn't it? I don't know if Brentford are maybe trying to continue a pattern they did in that first half, where there was the odd tactical foul of we just helped them break the game down ever so slightly. But as you say, Paul, you don't want to make a habit of it. Yellow cards and the rest will start coming out, but it can be efficient, but you've got to be careful where you make them, because when you've got the likes of Tielemans putting in deliveries from that far side, as I mentioned already, he's a wonderful set piece taker too.
He is, and it's going to be an in-swinger from Yuri Tielemans, and there's pretty much Brentford have set up around about the penalty spot in terms of their offside, but there's so many Villa bodies in there. It's Tielemans' ball in. Oh, it gets a flick off a Villa head. Both sets of players have their arms up saying it should be our ball. Schade doing his best to at least not give away the corner, but McGinn then robs him of the ball. The ball is then whipped in, but the referee has stopped play here. But what's he stopped play for? Has it gone out for a throw?
I think it went out over the touchline. I was surprised they both played on, actually. It looked like it had clearly gone over the line. He had a good view of it, the official, so I think he's made the right call. Yeah,
so it is going to be a throw on, or maybe even a corner kick. Is it going to be a corner kick on that right-hand side? I think it's Villa's ball anyway, and it is going to be a throw on here, launched by Cash. He's got a good long throw as well into the penalty area. It's headed away towards the edge. Villa recycled that ball now with Digne. Ball back into the box. Mings heads it across the 6-yard box. Collins gets there to stop it, reaching another Villa player. Then it's whipped back in by McGinn just towards the edge of the area. It's headed away by Vandenberg this time. A ball bouncing back towards the edge of the Beast penalty area. Cash leaves it for McGinn. McGinn with a curling effort towards the left-hand side. It then drops, and it's an overhead kick attempt there from Emi Buendia. Well, it was an elaborate attempt there from the Argentine. Just wonder if there are other options there for him. I don't think he was compelled into doing that. He probably could have tried to lay the ball off as well.
No, he could actually. When he saw the cushion header, it was probably more suited to put it back on whoever it was on the edge of the area. It might have been Ollie Watkins, actually. Instead, he opted for Buendia, and it's terrific athleticism to try that. Already it's better from Villa, isn't it, though, in the second half? They look a little bit quicker. They're making those forward balls that little bit faster as well, and they've woken up a little bit, I think, haven't they?
They have, and it's important for Villa because they'll use that as the disallowed goal, which was rightfully disallowed, I would say, but Villa will use that as a little shot in the arm to say that now they can really try to get into the game. Being 2-0 down at half-time would have been a lot more difficult conversation for Emery than being 1-0 down. And we know that Brentford were in the top 5 teams last season in terms of points dropped from winning positions. So, as I say, Brentford can always be got at. They're not the most solid team in defence. As a ball played up to Igor Thiago is cleared into midfield, but then Coyote plays it into Dango Otara, who tried to just leave that ball there for the onrushing Yarmolenko, but he left him a little bit too much to do. And now here come Villa through the middle with Morgan Rogers, who does really well there to ride a couple of challenges. I think the referee was even playing an advantage, but now Coyote has won the ball back, and he's off on the run for Brentford. Immediately stopped, though, by Morgan Rogers. A real interesting fight there in midfield before eventually Coyote doing a little bit too much there as far as the referee is concerned, when Morgan Rogers is furious there with the official Tony Harrington. He's got to be careful that he doesn't talk himself into a yellow card, but Villa are taking it short this time, and it's with Digne down the left-hand side, playing a quick 1-2 there with Watkins, who was forced out wide this time, and then a nice little 1-2, Tielemans playing that into space for Digne, but it's just overhit. But it's more of the same from Villa. If they carry on doing what they're doing now without Brentford putting up some further resistance, and I think Emery will be confident this side can get an equaliser. Yeah, they're finding a few more gaps, aren't they, in that back four? They were so resilient in the first half with the Bees, so well disciplined, so well organised, and they completely shut Villa out, didn't they? They were fairly narrow in terms of what they were doing. They were happy for Villa to push the ball out wide and put crosses into the box. They don't have that much height up front to Villa when you consider Watkins. He's not a completely out-and-out centre forward from a sort of strength point of view. He can head the ball decently well, but they're finding a little bit more space, a little bit more pockets, and it's definitely been better from Aston Villa. It has been, yeah. Villa looking a lot more confident on the ball, and that immediately has just put Brentford into a little bit more of a defence mode. See the Bees, the Brentford sat back for spells in the first half, but not to the extent that they're doing right now. They're being sort of hounded further and further back into their own half, as Tielemans finding a good ball for Buendia, who gets to the edge of there and he goes for goal, and that one is wide. Well, we criticised him for the overhead kick. I think on this occasion he probably was entitled to go for goal. He was running at pace, wanting to put his right foot through it, but there might have been a through ball option as well. Yeah, it's one of those ones when it opens up for you. You've almost inevitably got to shoot, but as you say, could he have perhaps carried on running? They were backpedalling, weren't they, those two Brentford centre halves? Probably a little bit more time than he thought, and again, disappointing. Dragged it wide of the target. Yeah, it wasn't quite what Buendia wanted there. Doesn't quite get to the right contact with the ball as Kelleher out. Just taking a few seconds longer than he needs to, perhaps, for this for a goal kick. As we can see, there's going to be a yellow card, I think, for Kelleher as well, just for taking too long. Villa have had 8, so Brentford have had 8 shots in the game, of which 2 have been on target. Villa have had 10, only 1 of those has been on target, but the ball now hooked up in the air. There's a free kick in favour of Villa here, and I think Brentford are just perhaps going about this the wrong way in terms of Thiago. They're just clattering into Tyrone Mings. All these free kicks, whistles are just slowing the game down, which is actually helping Villa because they're the ones in possession all the time.
Yeah, I mentioned it that you've got to be careful with how many of those tactical fouls, as they call them, you are going to make. As I say, inevitably will lead to cards, but also it can jeopardise yourself a little bit. It breaks up the play for Villa, but it also breaks up the play for yourself. And every time they're doing it, they're giving Villa the ball back, giving them the opportunity to reset. It can't carry on like this, you would have thought.
No, it's a difficult situation for Brentford, and we can see Keith Andrews there with one of his assistants, Kevin O'Connor, just trying to come up with a way to perhaps remedy the fact that Brentford are just they're running after the ball even more so than they were in the first half. Now ball up towards the halfway line. Buendia is able to get away from 2 Brentford players, and there's a run down the left here from Watkins. Watkins has the space, he gets away and then gets it inside. It's going to be a strike coming in. The effort is well blocked in the end. The strike coming in from Amadou Onana. And Onana swears to the referee that he didn't foul his man as he was trying to win the ball back. Tony Harrington disagrees to the extent that he gives Brentford a free kick, and he gives Onana a yellow card as well. Yeah,
it was a poor effort that from Onana. He took time with it actually, let it roll across his body onto his right foot, and by that time Brentford had managed to regroup with the bodies. It was good play from Watkins, picked it up on that left hand side, was always going to cut in, unselfishly found actually Onana, who was in a really good position. And I'm just wondering, actually, with those bodies in front of him, where it might have been the better option for him to take in the touch. Frustration from his attempt, lashes in behind, and it is a poor challenge that on Henderson.
It is, yeah. I mean, he feels like there wasn't enough contact with Henderson, but the intent really from Onana wasn't good. And the referee deciding that should be a free kick. 57 minutes on the clock, unofficial, independent, off-tube studio commentary. Brentford leading against Villa by 1-0. A long ball now down the left here for Thiago to chase. That one is too long, though. He won't get on the end of that one. And it's out for a goal kick, which will be taken here by Emi Martinez. He's got short options here in Pau Torres and Tyrone Mings. Say Villa don't want to take too long over this. It's their own time they're wasting. You've got just over half an hour to get back into this game, and the signs have been good so far for Unai Emery's side here since the start of the second half. They have been putting pressure on Brentford, although Cash has been put under pressure with a short ball out from his own goalkeeper. And Vandenberg cutting that ball out as it was being played back into midfield. So it will be a throw on to Aston Villa now down the right hand side. Cash stealing about 10 yards from where the ball should actually be. I always say it's the easiest offence to get away with on a football field. He's still going here. Cash has probably made about 15 yards by now as the ball up to the halfway line is won back here by Vandenberg and played back towards Kelleher.
Yeah, it's okay actually from Brentford in the sense that it's a case of if you aren't going to have the ball, how do you react to it? In the first half, they were very solid defensively, as we've mentioned. They look a little bit more vulnerable in this second period, but as it stands, they're able to see the game out. And yes, Villa have looked better, but they're not creating golden opportunities, as I would say. And that's actually quite a nasty incident there. It was a foot just sucked out by Atara, and I think it might have been Torres that he caught in the face, or Digne.
It was Digne, and it wasn't good from Atara. I actually thought there was probably an argument that he could have got a yellow card for that, but the referee deciding that not on this occasion. And Villa in possession now with Tyrone Mings, just going square to Cash on the right-hand side. Back to Tyrone Mings, pressure there from Igor Thiago, who played forward. Rogers just touching it on for Digne. It's been won back by Damsgaard, and suddenly Brentford can try and go on the counter, although the ball up towards Damsgaard from Yarmolik was a little bit overhit. It will be Villa back in possession. Specifically, it's Tyrone Mings getting the ball away from his own penalty area to the halfway line, just being closed down by Igor Thiago. It's now over towards the left-hand side. Nice a bit of control there as well from Digne to keep the ball alive. Out towards the right-hand side here is John McGinn. Overlap from Digne, but it goes straight back, a long way back, and it's an effort from all of 25 yards there from a falling Amadou Onana, goes straight down the middle.
Yeah, again, it's the second time in as many minutes that he's gone for the shot immediately, and again, I think on that occasion as well, there's plenty of Brentford shirts in front of him. Look for another option. There's plenty of Villa attackers in front of him that should be making that run or maybe coming and showing for the ball. How many efforts have we seen from Villa now in this game, Paul? 5 or 6, maybe more. And
well, it's been all the ones off target. It's probably over 10 now that we've seen, but still not been too many for Kelleher to really be concerned about. What he will be concerned about, Kwame Heather, and indeed the coaching staff will be concerned about this as well, that Villa are just finding it a little bit easier to get into the box and actually have efforts on goal, which is what they struggled with in the first half. So it is a question now of what Brentford can do to respond to that. For the time being, all they can do is just play out from the back, getting it up towards the halfway line. Now it's Vandenberg with the ball towards the edge of the area, but it's been easily cleared. McGinn now has it back for Villa, back into the middle, and a bit of pressure there as well for Tielemans, but he is able to get it back to Martinez. Then plays it square to Tyrone Mings. He goes out towards the right side for Cash, played back towards the goalkeeper. So this is what Brentford need to do if they can, is just to try and keep Villa inside their own half.
Yeah, they do. As I say, it's been a little bit more positive from Aston Villa, but it does suit Brentford how this game is panning out. The only chances Villa are having is seemingly from distance, as just mentioned, and there's always the opportunity that they pinch the ball back, like they've just done, and hit them on the counter.
That's what they're going to be trying to do, as Villa now have it back here in Brentford territory, still albeit a long way from the Brentford penalty area. Cash now out towards McGinn. Back to Cash, square now to Tyrone Mings. A lot of possession for Villa inside the Brentford half in this second half. They had a lot in the first as well, but it just seems to have a little bit more meaning to it now. There's a little bit more direction in terms of what Villa actually want to do. Down the right hand side, Cash into McGinn. To Cash again, and no change in the other scores. It's 1-0 to the home side in all 3 Premier League games so far this afternoon. And so here come Villa now with Pau Torres on the left hand side, back into Tielemans. Nana now back to Tyrone Mings. For the time being, Villa in possession, but struggling to find space to get into the box. Now they try it with McGinn, who goes square to Onana. He's falling, but he's still trying to play the ball out as he's doing so. He gets robbed of it though, and now Damsgaard plays the ball out. It's a very heavy touch though from Dango Atara. Brentford almost with it back in midfield, but it is with Villa now, specifically with Yuri Tielemans. It's short over towards the right hand side. Cash's ball into the box, but that one is headed over the bar by Morgan Rogers and out for a goal kick. Yeah,
there's definitely been an uptake in the speed that Villa are putting their attacks together on. They're moving it that little bit slicker, that little bit more quick. But as I mentioned already, Brentford will be content with this because generally it's been balls in from the left and right hand side and shots from distance. So, that's a testament to how Brentford have been playing. Aston Villa still, after an hour in this game, as the changes come on, struggling to unlock them.
Yeah, well, the double change you mentioned is going to be Amadou Onana and Luca Digne going off, and they're replaced by Donio Mallon, who's going to go into midfield, and left back we're now going to see Ian Maatsen. So double Dutch substitution here for Unai Emery. And they're thinking, of course, Mallon, he can play as a number 10, he can play as a right winger, so it just gives Villa an extra body in attacking midfield, and at the same time it's a like-for-like swap really, Maatsen on the left for Digne.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? I must say I was disappointed with Onana in this game. I mentioned those speculative efforts that he had that I thought were wasteful. He's been a little bit of a passenger, he's in that attacking midfield role, isn't he, for Villa, and he's sort of been in no man's land at times really, so there might be a chance here for Brentford. Sharda had it on the edge of the area, flicked it forward for Thiago. It looked to get in behind, and it's the first real opportunity the Bees have had in this second half, and again it was a quick ball over the top, fast build up, and Sharda took it there and probably should do better actually there, Paul.
Maybe that pass just to Thiago is just a little bit overhit. It does make it a little bit easier there for for the goalkeeper Martinez to come out and make that save. But 65 minutes gone, Brentford still leading by a goal to nil. It's a rare opportunity for Brentford there in the second half to try and increase their lead, because it has pretty much been all Villa in terms of attacking possession in these 20 minutes so far. So with Cash, it's back towards Mings. It's the goalkeeper now, Martinez. Back to Tyrone Mings. Looking up like he wanted to play a long ball, but he doesn't in the end. He just plays a ball which is easily picked off here in midfield. But the first thought Brentford have is to go back with it. So they want to get forward, but at the same time they don't want to do it too quickly because they'll just worry they'll lose it too quickly.
No, and it might do them good to have a spell of possession in this game if they could see a bit more of the ball. It could eat up 5-10 minutes. As much have been complimentary to the way they've been defended. A side that doesn't really have any of the ball in the game is always going to have vulnerability because ultimately means that Villa will be in and around the half, and there's always a chance that you can create half an opportunity if you do so.
Yeah, but here come Villa now down the left. It was with McGinn just gets stopped to the edge of the area. It's played back over towards Cash, and now here is a chance down the right-hand side. Mallon's ball into the box, gets the big deflection. Brentford trying to avoid the corner, and Yarmolenko just about manages it. And he gets that ball in towards Damsgaard, whose clearance is taken down here around about the halfway line by Igor Thiago. He tries to backheel it to a teammate, but he was completely isolated there, really. Nowhere to go with the ball, and now Villa with a chance again, but maybe just because Brentford have just started to crowd their own half a bit, it's just been a little bit slower from Villa in the last few minutes.
Yeah, it has. That's one thing that we said, wasn't it, in the sort of first 10-15 minutes of this first half. They had speeded things Villa up, but it's clearly that Brentford have managed to regroup that a little bit better, as you say, and the ultimate result of that is it slows everything down for Villa, which suits the home side.
It does, absolutely, although Brentford don't want it to slow down too much because then they can be drawn into full sense of security, and before you know it, Villa can still put in a move out of nowhere. That would potentially give Unai Emery's side an equaliser. Trying again, hit down the right now with Cash. Plays it to Daniel Mallon. Back to Matt Cash. So here to Tyrone Mings. There's a defensive line here for Villa. Seeing a lot of the ball in this second half as they try and build from the back. It's Pau Torres. Shellerman's out to the right-hand side here for Mallon. Back into Cash. There's no way to get this ball anywhere near the penalty area. No attempts from Brentford in the second half. 6 from Villa. 77% possession for the visitors. Just 23 for Brentford. So in that sense, really, there's only one side trying to get further in this game right now. Yeah,
and Villa are getting more opportunities in that final third. They've got to be better. There might be one here, Paul.
There might be. A ball coming in from the left is cut out by Yarmolenko, and then played through the middle here. Brentford with a chance to try and hit Villa on the counter. As here is Coyote. Just needs some support here in the form of play arriving now on the left-hand side. The cross coming in. Oh, that's a poor cross from Kevin Schade. Not entirely sure who he wanted to aim at there, really.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? And, it seems that opportunities for Brentford are going to be few and far between. And when that's the case, you've got to cherish them. And that's twice that Schade has found himself in a good position in this second half. In the first one, he was a bit heavy-handed with the pass through. On that occasion, as you say, it was a ball in on his left foot, and it was a bit of an aimless one. Changes for Brentford, perhaps necessary. John and Anderson, he's not seen an awful lot of the ball in this game.
No, he hasn't, but it's nice to see him give a decent amount of applause to the home fans. They're going to take him very quickly. He's a very likeable player when he's in your team, Jordan Henderson, so he's off. Interesting that it's Frank Onyeka coming on to replace him and not Mikkel Damsgaard. Not Matthias Jensen, I should say, which is a bit of a surprise. Onyeka was on loan all of last season, but with so many bodies leaving Brentford, they're having to sort of bring him back into the fold.
Yeah, and I can be proud of his efforts, Henderson, in terms of what he's offered today. As I said, he's not seen an awful lot of the ball, but his experience has shown in the fact that he's protected his back four really well. He helped organise it. You can see whenever he's on the pitch, he's barking out instructions. And you mentioned the youthfulness of this Brentford side. How valuable is someone with that experience, Paul?
Yeah, it's what Brentford really need. It's what they were lacking in the game against Forest last week, but it's a long ball now played towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Watkins keeping it alive, trying to go for goal, but he gets charged down. Yarmolenko misses the second ball. It's with McGinn, but then he goes in, and that's going to be a free kick to Brentford after that foul on Frank Onyeka. So we've gone over the three-quarter mark in this game. It is Brentford 1, Aston Villa 0, and it will be James to take us through to full time.
Yes, thank you, Paul. It's been a little bit scrappy this second half, as Villa have seen most of the ball. You would imagine that'll be the way this game will pan out for the remaining 20 minutes or so. Just seeing Ollie Watkins on our studio pictures. Bit of a frustrating afternoon for him. He's had a decent record against his older club, and Villa have actually, since Brentford have arrived in the Premier League. They've only lost to them once. Seeing John O'Shea on our studio pictures, and Steve Clarke as well, the Scotland manager. And the ball lands in and around that centre circle now, and Onyeka has it at his feet. Goes back to the skipper Collins. He's got Vandenberg to his left-hand side. Keen Lewis Potter it is, who again doesn't take much time on the ball. Hoists it upfield, looking for Thiago. It's a tricky ball over the top. There's a bit of panic there from Tyrone Mings as it bounced over his head, recovered well, and he brought it out and finds Rodgers. It's out on that left-hand side with Maatsen now. He plays it to Rodgers, who's carried the ball well at times in this game, but he's shepherded out by Onyeka. He had Kiade with him as well. It's carried in midfield. Looks for the options ahead of him. Kiade has it. He finds Damsgaard. He puts his head up, carries it down the flank. He's got Kiade out. Is he going to eventually cross at the Dane? Takes his time and buys a foul really well. Good game management.
It is good game management. Yeah, I mean that initial ball, as you said, made a bit of mess of it at the back there, Aston Villa. But Brentford just starting to press a little bit high now. They can see that just being sat back inside their own half isn't going to help them. They've got to try and frustrate Villa higher up the field. Yeah,
it would put the home side supporters at ease if they were to see a little bit more of the ball. Starve Aston Villa of creating any chances, and as I say, get themselves up in this final third. We saw how effective they were from the long throw in the first half, and that was very complimentary, wasn't it, to Damsgaard's balls in and his set-piece delivery, only for him to fluff one up at the start of this second half period. Can he do a bit better on this occasion? The Dane, it's going to be an in-swinger from that right-hand side. Bodies have gone forward for Brentford. The skipper Collins and the Dutchman Vandenberg is up there as well. So ball in, doesn't beat the first man, it's headed away. It's collected now on the edge of the area. Another ball will come in. It's a deep one that's hung, and it's not back to Damsgaard, who then knocks one into the penalty area. It's ricocheting around there. It looks as if it had gone deep on that far right hand side. Brentford seeing more and more of the ball, and is this what they need to do, Paul? Is it a case of they need to see more of the ball because they're too vulnerable, or are they happy doing what they're doing?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because a 1-0 lead is never that safe, is it? You can always lose that in a second. So if there is any opportunity for Brentford to increase the lead, they've got to try and take it, but they've got to do it with some sort of nous where they don't send too many players forward, so it's too risky. But then if they don't send enough players forward, it won't happen either. Yeah,
Damsgaard puts the press on him behind as Matty Cashett's there with the bouncing ball, deals with it well. Heads it back to Martinez, who throws it out to Tyrone Mings, finds Tielemans in midfield. John McGinn's gone more central now as Mallon's pushed out to that right hand side, and this is quicker play from Villa. It's worked out to Buendia, and it's now on that left hand side with Rodgers. And he waits for the support to come. It doesn't in the end. In the end, he has to go all the way back to the halfway line where Pau Torres has the ball. Brentford see this as an opportunity to get themselves back into the shape. And the man further forward is Thiago. Eventually puts a little bit of a press on, forces it to be pushed out to the right hand side by Torres, and it was poorly controlled by Morgan Rodgers. It's picked up by Damsgaard. Challenge comes in from Watkins. It looks to have put some sort of a press on there. And was it caught in the clearance? I'm not quite sure. He seems to be rolling around in an awful lot of pain. I can't imagine the locals are been overwhelmingly sympathetic to him, though.
No, I mean, Watkins was a very popular player at Brentford. He celebrated a little bit when he last scored at the GTech, although there was an issue that he was actually celebrating in the face of one fan that had been giving him grief rather than celebrating in front of all the Brentford fans. I mean, there's a bit of a tread down there from Jan Milik, but I'm not sure if the referee's going to give that as a free kick, although Watkins certainly felt that.
Yeah, he's back on his feet, the England striker. Of course, scored that memorable goal, didn't he, in the European Championship semi-final. Going to be a few more changes for Aston Villa as well, as he has one final throw of the dice. Evan Garsand is one of them. John McGinn has been removed.
Yeah, so McGinn will be going off, as you say. Garsand is coming on, and trying to see who the other player was who's going to get
Buendia. That seems a little bit harsh. Never a good look to be subbed on and then subbed off again.
That's bad. The sub who has to go off when he's been subbed. I mean, it's, I suppose the only one who's worse or comparable is when you're subbed for tactical reasons in the first half. That's the one that I think always looks quite bad. But Brentford now have the ball back here in midfield after a long ball towards the edge of their own penalty area.
Larrson, it is with a bit of early possession. Brentford get the bodies in front of him. There might be an opportunity on the counter. Chiadi slides the ball through. There's a run in behind by Thiago, who's looked a little bit more isolated in this second period. Not seeing the likes of Kevin Sharder and Uatara up as much with him as we did in that first period. And Villa themselves are look to build now with Bogard, who's come on in central midfield. And he knocks the ball forward. And there might be an opportunity for Villa to build it out on this right-hand side. Daniel Mallon can't get the end of that ball. It's trickled out into touch over on that far right-hand side. Might add a little bit more physicality up front. Garson for Villa, the new signing. 75.5 minutes gone in this game, and as it stands, Villa not creating much. Can Brentford see this out? Lewis Potter with the ball in hand takes the throw. There's a long looping one which lands just on this far touchline in front of it. It's headed in midfield. Neither side can get a foot on it. Eventually Brentford are able to. Long ball over the top from Damsgaard. It was looking for Sharder, who was stood offside when it was played over. He wasn't interested in that at all. He allowed it to trickle through to Emi Martinez. And Villa will look to build from the back now with Torres. He carries it up to the halfway line. What options has he got in front of him? Youri Tielemans is one of them. Plays the 1-2 with Torres. And plays another 1-2, but it's back with Tielemans now, inside that centre circle. Takes his time with the pass, goes for the long diagonal onto the right-hand side. Matty Cash is pushed nice and far forward. Perhaps been advised to by his manager as Villa need to get themselves back in this game. Kevin Sharder's dropped very, very deep for the home side. Picked up the ball in the penalty box, put it forward, knocked over the top looking for Damsgaard. And there might be an opportunity for Brentford to keep this ball up. They've worked out well to Thiago. He's on the edge of the D now. Goes onto his left foot. Slashes the ball towards goal. It was a poor effort in the end. He probably should have worked the target. Found himself in a good amount of space there. He had Mings in front of him. Whether he was distracted by him, I'm not quite sure. It's another one. We've said it a few times in this game. Paul, should they do better?
Well, they should. I mean, they've had so precious few opportunities in the second half. You would have liked to think from a Brentford point of view that Igor Thiago could have used that a little bit better, but he hasn't, and now here come Villa.
Yeah, they do. They're on this left-hand side with Garson. Can he get to the byline and put ball in? He looks to. Challenge comes in. It's a good run from Chiadi. It's a corner kick for Aston Villa. He's been wonderful for the home side on that right-hand side. All the back four have been good for Brentford, as I mentioned. Vandenberg, Nathan Collins and Lewis Potter, well protected, weren't they, by Yamalik and Jordan Henderson too. Now Onyeka has come on in place of Henderson, and he's got to do his duty as well, as Villa have the ball on the edge of the area. They took that short corner, something that Paul and I were critical of in this first half. It's worked back to Tielemans. He hangs the ball just in front of the 6-yard box. The heads go up, 2 or 3 headers. Brentford eventually scramble it to the edge of the area. Strike comes in from Ian Matson on that left-hand side. It's not a very good one. Brentford have possession. It's held up by Dango Ouattara on that right-hand side, and he's won his side a foul in the process. We've mentioned the need for tactical fouls seemingly for Brentford in this game, and the game management all comes in this stage, and they're not going to have a lot of the ball out of the home side. So when they push forward, it might be a case of checking back inside and trying to win the foul. It's going to be another substitution for the Bees.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who they're going to be bringing on here now, because looks like we've seen. Is this going to be Molly to go off? No, it's going to be Kevin Sharder to go off here for Keith Andrews' side. And is that going to be Jensen to replace? No, it's going to be Aaron Hickey. So they are trying to. In fact, it's a double change. It's going to be Jensen and Hickey to come on to replace Sharder. I'm just trying to see who the other player was. I think was it Coyote? I think that's gone off there. Can't quite see, but we'll confirm that in just a moment.
Yeah, Matthias Jensen, is it, coming onto the field as well for the Bees? And yeah, perhaps an indication that Keith Andrews is looking to just shut up shop ever so slightly. Good to see Aaron Hickey back on the field. Paul touched on his first half, his difficult injury record that he's had in the past couple of years. Now, what can Villa do? The mindset that Brentford have of maybe sitting even deeper. That's possible, because at times they've sat back a lot in this first half, and the second half as well, but it's been very effective. Morgan Rogers picks up the ball on the halfway line, but he's been dispossessed. Picked up by Thiago, waits for the support to come. It does by Damgard. Villa managed to regroup well and win the ball back. Matson did that on that left-hand side. It's now picked up in midfield, and it's worked out to the right hand side where Morgan Rogers has it. He checks back in midfield. Ollie Watkins is there, takes a touch, moves the ball forward, enters that penalty area. Lovely footwork from him, rode a challenge as well in the process. What options do Villa have on this right hand side? Matty Cash is one of them, as is Bogard. And it's back with Cash. He's on the edge of the penalty area. And again, Villa are slowed to a crawl really in this game. But Morgan Rogers gets in, turns his back in that penalty area. Looks to knock one across the 6-yard box. Guyson was in there and Kelleher was there to pounce on it. Of course, he played it about 60-70 times for Liverpool. Described by Jurgen Klopp as being the best number 2 in the world. Well, he's going to be a number 1 at Brentford. Is he a good asset for them, do you think, Paul?
I think so. I think that Flecken looked quite nervous when he first arrived in England. He was actually starting to look a little bit better towards his time. When you see the money that he went for Leverkusen, it wasn't big money, whereas Kelleher has had more steady performances, been in the Premier League a little bit longer, albeit as a sub-keeper, and it's a chance to be first choice for the first time. So I think it's a good move, but I'll break off from that because here come Villa.
Yeah, it's Marlon who looked to get to the byline. He was well ushered out on that left-hand side by Keane Potter, but he finds the overlap of Cash. Ball comes back into the 6-yard box again. It ricochets around in there as it's done so often, but again Brentford managed to get the bodies in the way. It's been cleared and picked up by Tyrone Mings in the centre circle. He finds Bogard to his right-hand side. Goes back to Tyrone Mings. This is nice shape from Brentford. There are no avenues for the villains to explore at the moment. Pau Torres has it. He takes his time with it. And again, he's frustrated the lack of options. Wonderful work from Brentford, pushing the ball back to Tyrone Mings. Bogard has it now. He puts it out with Matthew Cash. Back to Bogard. Puts his head up. Bit of space opens in front of him. What options has he got? Watkins isn't making much movement. Morgan Rogers is. He goes for Rogers. Plays the 1-2. It's back now with Bogard. Brentford pushing ever so slightly out the nearer that Villa get towards the 18-yard box, but it's now found with Morgan Rogers. Plays a nice 1-2, looks to pick it up on the edge of the D, but there's enough red shirts out there and they managed to push out. That's a nice break actually by Collins, but he can't keep hold of the ball, and that might be an opportunity. There's one who said a foul, and then it's all a bit rushed there. They could have dealt with that better.
Yeah, it's a mess from both teams, really. I mean, initially, Villa making a bit of a mess of stopping this Brentford breakout from defence. Then Collins tries to take a quick free kick that nobody from Brentford read at all. And now it's the big right-back stroke centre-back Christopher Ayer, Norwegian international, now getting ready to come on here for Keith Andrews. So wait to see who he's going to be replacing, but it may well be for Coyote, may well be for one of the centre-backs, it might be for Lewis Potter as well. We'll see what Keith Andrews wants, but it's a free kick to Brentford now, which will be taken by Kelleher.
Yeah, and he will push it out to that right-hand side. Brentford have pushed a few bodies up there, the heads go up on that right-hand side, but it's Villa have ultimately retrieved possession in the process. Maatsen has it, finds Tielemans in midfield, an injection of pace from the Belgian. Rides challenge from behind, moves it forward, and it's a good ball actually, which is worked up to Malon. He's got Matty Cash who's pushing further and further forward, but it's well cleared by Keane Lewis Potter on that left hand side, who got back, waited for the support to come. Now Brentford can push out and clear the lines, and it lands back at the feet as the resulting header of Lewis Potter. Wonderful footwork from him. Has he won his side a foul in the process? Yes, he can. I mentioned before the game, to you, Paul, you know a bit more about Brentford than I do, that he's almost a bit of a makeshift left back last season. He's in for Rico Henry, I think actually played last week, didn't he? And I've got to give him his due. Defensively, he's looked really sound.
He has. He's actually done very well on that left hand. He's actually done very well on that left hand side, but now potentially is the man who's eventually going to have that left side back for himself here. It's going to be Rico Henry. So is this a double change, or has he decided to change his mind here, Keith Andrews? Dango Otara is going to be going off. He's the one who scored the only goal in this game so far.
He certainly is, and he'll be proud of his efforts. The new signing took his opportunity well at the second time of asking. It was a wonderful break, wasn't it, with that ball over the top in the first half, and he receives a rapturous round of applause from the Brentford faithful.
Yeah, confirmation that it's Michael Coyote and Dango Otara who go off, and it will be Christopher Ayer and Rico Henry to come on. So Ayer will go on the right hand side, Henry will go on the left, and that means that Lewis Potter can be free to go a little bit further forward.
Yeah, plenty of experience, hasn't he? The Norwegian international will be hoping that he can go to the World Cup with his country this summer, but at the moment he's got to focus on getting his club side what could be a valuable 3 points. He drops back into that centre-half position as you'd expect him to do so. But it's Aston Villa with the ball, and Tyrone Mings, who's seen so much of it. I think he might have held the ball longer than anyone in this game. The England international. So England international, whether we'll see him in that shirt again, I'm not sure. He was, of course, starting at the Euros in England a few years ago, wasn't he? Filled in for Harry Maguire. Another man that might be looking to go to the World Cup, Matty Cash, has the ball, finds Malon in front of him. They play a 1-2. It's back with Mings again. And off his left foot, he sprays one out to that left-hand side. It looked to be a decent ball, but there's too much on it, and it's gone over the top, and it's going to be a throw.
Yeah, it's out for a throw. I mean, you mentioned Matt Cash playing in the World Cup. I mean, he wasn't in the previous manager's good books, that manager that decided that he was going to sort of basically have a situation where he was going to drop Lewandowski. And then Lewandowski threatened to quit the national team, so then they sacked the manager. He's been replaced now, and potentially that gives Cash a bit more of an in. But he's had a few injury problems last season. He's only just sort of getting back into being a regular starter for Villa. And wait and see how that goes. But with 4 minutes to go plus injury time, Villa just win the ball back.
Yeah, can Brentford hang on? Again, they regroup well. It's picked up there by Collins, and it goes back to Keller, who puts one into the West London sky. Brentford unable to hold the ball up, but the loose ball has ended up at the feet of Damsgaard. Now on that right hand side, Aaron Hickey has it, the Scotsman. He carries it up the flank and checks in midfield. Damsgaard has it. This is good game management again from Brentford, keeping hold of the ball and then pushing the bodies forward. But just as I say that, they have surrendered possession, and Villa might have an opportunity themselves to build from the back. Pau Torres has it. He looks to inject some speed into it himself, dinks the ball over to this right hand side. Matty Cash has it, knocks it in midfield to Bogard. He looks at the options in front of him. Again, the pace of the game drops for a minute with Villa with the ball in hand. It's now up with Maatsen on that left hand side. Guysson's there as well. Might be a crossing opportunity for him. Checks back. Brentford have doubled up on him well there, and Hickey looked to have made the challenge initially. I thought he'd won the ball, and it was picked up by Villa with the loose ball with Garson, and it goes back to Maatsen of the result of that challenge, and his block comes in. This is good from Brentford, is it, Paul?
It is, but at the same time they're getting stuck inside their own half again. It was bound to happen, wasn't it? With 3 minutes to go plus injury time, Villa are going to do everything just to put that pressure on Brentford. Just to say that Burnley are now 2-0 up at home to Sunderland. Jane Anthony with the goal there for Burnley. As the cross comes in here from deep, it's headed out back into midfield. So Bournemouth 1, Wolves 0. Wolves are playing with 10. Burnley 2, Sunderland 0. And it's still 1-0 to Brentford here in our game.
Yeah, interesting. That will probably not likely mean that all three promoted sides have got themselves a win in the first couple of weeks of the season. Sunderland and Leeds United winning last week. And Brentford, a side that a few fans and a few pundits may have tipped to be in trouble. Well, they could be grinding themselves out a terrific result this afternoon. But they've got to see out the remaining minutes of this or so of this game, and Villa are seeing possession around the 18-yard box with Marlon. He finds Bogard. Work it out to the left where Garson has the ball. Checks in on his right foot. Option in front of him with Maatsen. Plays a 1-2. There's 3 red and white shirts on Garson, but it's terrific footwork from him. Can he get to the byline and put a cross in? He does. Brentford have cleared the lines though, and it's going to go all the way back to Tyrone Mings, who looked to be trotting back, and in the process of doing so, has he just pulled up, Paul?
Oh, he looks like he has, and Villa have used 5 substitutes, so either Tyrone Mings can shake this injury off, or Villa are going to have to finish the game with 10 men.
Yeah, doesn't look good for the Villa centre half. Seemed to be nothing, is it? Where he's pulled a muscle when he was running back there was a result from an earlier challenge. I'm not quite sure, but he did look in an awful lot of discomfort. But his side ideally need him on the field, and they need to push bodies forward. Cross comes in from that left-hand side from Maatsen. Again, Brentford deal with it. Full credit to this Brentford side, and it's the skipper again, Collins, the Irishman. He's got his head in the way, and as well as Vandenberg. He's hurt himself in the process. Is it just a case of a ball in the face there?
Yes, I think it is. I think there was a Villa player just in front of him in Watkins, and he just wasn't expecting where the ball was going, where the ball was going to be. It's hit him flush in the face, and I think he's a little bit upset that he's been made to leave the field. But those are the rules. If the referee feels as though it was an injury, he'll have to just make his way off the field for a moment. But we're about 30 seconds away from seeing the fourth official. That's how much added time there'll be.
Yeah, our camera just panning to the various Brentford supporters, a few of them with smiles on the face, clearly not too unnerved by this relentless pressure that Villa, I would say relentless pressure, it is in a sense of how much of the ball they've had, but chances have been few and far between. Seen plenty of balls into the penalty area, but they've dealt with them so well at Brentford. There's been the odd shot from distance as well from Villa. That hasn't been too troublesome for Kelleher either. 5 minutes added on for Brentford to see out, and they've got the possession in the area that might want to be. It's carried forward to Damsgaard. There might be an opportunity in behind there, Paul. Challenges come in on Thiago, and that was a half chance. He got him behind really well there.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's still down on the ground. I'm not sure. We'll see what this replay here is. Damsgaard gets the ball. I think Lewis Potter was in danger of being offside. So it's a good job that Damsgaard didn't play to him. I think that Igor Thiago was in an offside position when he gets the ball as well. Quite a heavy touch, really. And then Martinez just getting his body in the way.
Yeah, half opportunity there. Not had many of those in this second half, Brentford, as they have to see out the remaining 4 minutes or so of injury time. Tyrone Mings has the ball at his feet. He's not moving as gingerly now, but he's moving slowly as is the pace of Villa's build-up. Torres plays it back to Mings. Sticks his head up and looks for Matthew Cash on the right-hand side. Cash checks in midfield, back to Mings. And he's lacking any kind of options in front of him. They're sat so deep here, Brentford, nice and compact. And they're not allowing any spaces for Villa to put that ball through. Ideally pushing them out to the flanks. And they're going to do that again here as Mallan has it on the right wing. Goes back to Matty Cash. And Mings has it again in midfield. And eventually they do go for the direct ball through the middle. Not been able to do that much in this game. And that's because Brentford have managed to get the shirts in front of it, which they've done again there. And again it's with Garson on the left-hand side. Can he put a cross into the penalty area? Brentford regroup really well. They get the bodies back there. They clear the lines. And you don't want to jinx it, but as it stands, I can't see Villa finding a way through, Paul.
Well, Brentford have been very well organised in defence all afternoon. That's not to say that Villa haven't found their chances, or at least their opportunities to get a ball somewhere near the penalty area. Clear-cut chances that have forced Kelleher into a save. They have been few and far between, it has to be said, and Brentford just won the ball back there in defence as well, so a chance for them to get away from their own box.
As Damsgaard has it, he hovers on that touch line. Surrenders possession in the process, though. It's picked up by Pau Torres, who goes for the long diagonal over the top, looking for Marlon. It's well headed away by Rico Henry. Keane Lewis Potter's in front of him to pick up the pieces. He does get a touch on it, but it knocks it out of play. And there'll be a throwing opportunity for Villa. They don't go long, they go short. They're going to work it through the feet. And it's pushed out against this right-hand side. Nice control by Matty Cash. Slides the ball forward. This time Morgan Rogers looks to get on the end of it. It's wonderful defending there by Brentford. I think it was Matthias Jensen that's come onto the field, who's back and shepherded that ball out. Good experience from the Dane. Plenty of caps for his country, along with Damsgaard as well. Always had a strong Danish contingent, haven't they, Brentford? Lost a few of them, of course. Lost the Danish manager. Lost the skipper, Norgard, as well. But still have somewhat of an influence on this team, Paul.
Yes, they do, absolutely. And I think that the way in which the Brentford have conducted the business, in terms of obviously Thomas Frank leaving and so many big players leaving, Wissa still wants to leave. You know, there was always going to be a danger that it could just sort of swamp Brentford in terms of results not being right and then pressure on Keith Andrews. But what they've shown today, which is what they didn't show last week in last week's game, was they've shown some fight. They've shown some resilience. They've had a lot more body in midfield, which they didn't have. Their midfield was almost anonymous last week, and I think that considering how bad they were at times last week, they have been very well organised. We still can't quite to celebrate that victory for Brentford, on behalf of Brentford, because there's still a minute to go. But now, as we see shots of Unai Emery, he'll have a lot to think about, because that's 2 games his side have played potentially without scoring a goal.
Yeah, and that is alarming from their point of view. You mentioned in that first half, didn't you, Paul, whether they would perhaps look to go into the transfer window. Well, the hand might be forced after what will be seemingly be 1 point from a possible 6 in their opening 2 games, unless they can push forward and try get themselves another one. But it seems unlikely now, as Brentford do have the ball. Thiago battles upfield, manages to keep hold of it, and they have it now on this left-hand side. Henry gets forward. Can he go to the corner flag and keep it there, or will he go to the byline and put the ball in? He keeps going, looked to put the ball in, then he looked to go back towards the corner flag. In the process, it goes out for a goal kick. A good burst of pace from him. A minute or so left in this game. Can Villa muster a final opportunity? Tielemans has it, moves it forward with Bogard, and it'll be his job to carry it on the halfway line. Slides it forward to Rodgers, but they've been dispossessed, and there might be a chance here for Lewis Potter on the break. He carries it up on that left touchline again. Is he going to go to the byline, or is he going to go to the corner flag? He does cut some field, plays a 1-2 with Jensen, couldn't quite get on the end of it, and there's a round of applause from Keith Andrews, because the final whistle has gone at the GTech Community Stadium. It's been terrific battling from Brentford in this game. They haven't seen much of the ball, but they've been resolute in defence, and when that opportunity came in the first half to Dango Tiaro, he took it really well. It's a valuable win for Brentford. They're off the mark this season. Villa only have 1 point from 2 games. 1-0 it finished at the GTech.